Well, many of you know that one of my thorns in the flesh is my inability to cook anything nice. But I've been working on this skill and I find it very strange that when I try to cook, I follow a recipe perfectly to the dot and still it doesn't turn out as good. But growing up, my mum never followed a recipe. I remember watching her. She would put a little bit of this and a little bit of that and taste it and add a little bit more for some strange reason, and it will turn out perfectly delicious to my amazement. It felt like she just knew it in her heart. Unlike me, she needed no measuring cup or a new edition of Jamie Oliver. Well, now you must be thinking, well, what does cooking have to do with wisdom? Well, much in every way. We might think that the book of Proverbs is a bit like a recipe book for wisdom. There are so many little pithy rules. We might be tempted to think that if we blindly follow these rules, we should be fine. But actually, that's not what the book of Proverbs wants. The book wants us to digest wisdom deep in our hearts, in our minds, in our souls, so that we can taste each situation and know deeply how to add in the right ingredients to live wisely. So today we are entering the engine room of the book of Proverbs. And I want us to ask 3 questions. Firstly, what does wisdom really want? Why should we be wise? And how should we seek wisdom? So what does wisdom really want? Well, chapter 1, verse 3. This book is written for receiving instruction in prudent behavior, doing what is right and just and fair. This book is not just interested in telling us wise things. It wants to show us what the good life looks like. It's not interested in telling us wise things, but also in making us wise, just and fair. And as we work our way through this book, you will see a lot of statements that sound like rules. If you do this, this will happen. These rule-like statements are like training wheels that start the process of wisdom. But it's not the final goal. Just like learning to ride a bicycle with training wheels is not the final goal. We use training wheels to help us ride the advanced bicycle. In a similar way, we will look at these rule-like statements and meditate on them. But that's not the end game. The end game is that wisdom will become part of us, so that we can instinctively know how to act wisely in each situation. Let me give you an example. There are 2 proverbs in chapter 26, verses 4 to 5. Answer not a fool according to his folly, lest you be like him yourself. But the next proverb says this: answer a fool according to his folly, lest he be wise in his own eyes. Now, do you see the problem? These 2 proverbs say contradictory things. First one says, don't answer a fool. Another one says, answer a fool. What should we do? Well, you see, it's not a contradiction for this book, because there will be times when we have to answer a fool, and it will be beneficial. But there will be times when we have to refrain from it. But knowing what to say when requires much wisdom. And that's the goal of the book. This book doesn't just give us simple rules for wisdom. It wants to change the way we think, the way we feel, the way we process things. So what does wisdom really want? It wants to totally change us and make us wise. Now, let's ask the question, why should we be wise? Why bother being wise? At one level, you and I can observe in the world that the wise life usually leads to happiness and joy. The unwise life, on the other hand, leads to misery. Take, for example, this news. In Melbourne, while other parents were celebrating their kid's birthday through Zoom, these parents decided that it was a great idea to have a large crowd for their child's birthday party. Well, unwise decision. The consequence was that the people were issued $26,000 in fines. An unwise decision that led to extreme unhappiness in this case. But why should we be wise? The book of Proverbs answers this question. If you seek wisdom, verse 5, then you will understand the fear of the Lord and find the knowledge of God. For the Lord gives wisdom, for from his mouth comes knowledge and understanding. He holds success in store for the upright. He is a shield to those whose walk is blameless. For he guards the cause of the just and protects the way of his faithful ones. Then you will understand what is right and just and fair, every good path. For wisdom will enter your heart, and knowledge will be pleasant to your soul. Discretion will protect you, and understanding will guard you. It is saying here that if you seek wisdom, God, who is the source of all wisdom, will give you the fear of the Lord, which is the square one of wisdom. If you seek wisdom, you will find God. If you find God, you will find wisdom. This wisdom will also change your character. Wisdom will come and live in your heart, and your character will be transformed. Like a soldier, it will guard you. You will be protected. Like a good GPS, it will guide you and lead you to the right path and away from the path that leads to destruction. If you have wisdom from God, then the choices you have to make each day for your life, for your work, for your kids, for your study, will not lead to misery, but to your and your family's ultimate flourishing. It's a very good deal. But this doesn't mean that the wise life will mean a suffering less life. As many of us know, we often learn wise lessons of life in the thick of suffering. That's why the Apostle Paul can say, we also glory in our sufferings, because we know that suffering produces perseverance, perseverance character, and character hope. Well, wisdom leads to flourishing and happiness through wise character, and sometimes this comes through suffering. So what does wisdom really want? It wants to totally change our character and make us wise. Well, why should we be wise? Because it leads to our real flourishing and happiness. And finally, how should we seek wisdom? The complacency of fools destroys them. Proverbs 1:32. There is no way we can become wise if we are complacent, if we are okay with how we are. As one writer says, it is better to be a human being dissatisfied than a pig satisfied. We cannot be wise unless we are passionately dissatisfied with being foolish. A character shaped by wisdom does not fall into one's lap, but must be actively sought. This is what we read in verses 2 to 5. My son, if you accept my words and store up my commands within you, turning your ear to wisdom and applying your heart to understanding. Indeed, if you call out for insight and cry aloud for understanding, and if you look for it as for silver and search for it as for hidden treasure, then you will understand the fear of the Lord. If you want to be wise, you have to turn your ear to wisdom and apply your heart. You have to call out and cry aloud. You have to search it like hidden treasure. And nobody finds hidden treasure by casually walking past the mine. You've got to dig. You've got to work hard for it. The promise is that when you seek wisdom, when with all your heart, with all your mind, with all your soul, with all your strength, then not only will you find wisdom, but you will find the great fountain of wisdom from whom all the wisdom flows, God Himself. And you will find Christ, in whom are hidden all the treasures of wisdom and knowledge. So the question is, are you seeking wisdom like hidden treasure? Or are you content and satisfied with your current state of character? My brother, my sister, God longs to give you maturity. You only have to seek it. Do you long to know more? If you are thirsty and hungry to be wise, if you want to be truly happy, then the invitation is to ask and it will be given to you. Seek and you will find. Knock and the door will be open to you. For everyone who asks receives, the one who seeks finds, and the one who knocks, the door will be opened.